My name is Ganesh. In this video, we are going to discuss about artificial intelligence overview and what is deep learning, the fundamentals of deep learning, and we will understand how machine learning is different than deep learning. Okay, let's begin with the history. The AI, the term came in first time in 1950s. Okay, Alan Turing, who has published the paper for the first time, who has speculated about the possibility of creating machines that can think. And the first time the chess AI enabled game called chess is first time introduced in 1951, and then in 1956 computer scientist John McCarthy has coined the term called AI, and since then the journey has started. Okay, in 1960 the first robot was introduced in the General Motors assembly line, and the first chatbot around the same time was introduced, and now the evolution has happened. Today we experience similar chatbots like Siri or Alexa. So later on a lot of innovation in this area was seen. In 1997, IBM's Deep Blue have beaten the chess champion. In 2005, the robotic car was introduced. In 2006, deep learning have been started at Google. The speech recognition, the robotics, the smart homes, smart toys, and so on, right? So since then, so it has all started as a hypothetical situation, but now it's most important technology and the revolution today. Okay, this is the idea of AI. So what AI is? It is a computer science. It is a field of computer science to create the intelligent machines. Okay, so machines that can mimic the human behavior. Okay, that can recognize the human speech, that can detect the object, that can learn on its own, that can plan, that can solve. So like humans, the machine that mimic the human behavior. Okay, so that is what AI is all about, and we will try to deep dive on what AI is and how this helps to solve some of the problems today. Okay, there are some of the commonly used applications of AI. For example, self-driving cars. So you might have heard about this, the autonomous car, which is which was more of a hypothetical, but today a lot of innovation happens. So a combination of natural language processing, reinforcement learning, machine learning, and data analytics together provides such a great innovation in the field of artificial intelligence. Okay, Siri, which understands and responds to the human speech like Alexa, Siri. So these are some of the examples which works on the basis of chatbots. Amazon's recommendation engine, that's a machine learning algorithms which runs for Amazon for recommending the products for their customers. It is a great experience for the customer as well as the business to increase the revenue from the existing customer base. Okay, speed and number plate recognition. So this is another great work in this domain of AI, where the computer vision can be used to read the number plate, recognize the digits or the characters written on the number plate live while the vehicle is on running. And it can predict, or it can analyze this data, and corresponding action is taken if any rules are violated, right? So that's a great work done have been done in AI. There's a predictive search. There are so many other examples which which we might have experienced around, and we have seen how AI is being involved. Okay, there's a basic difference. So if you have any confusion around what is data science, what is AI, what is machine learning and deep learning, so let me tell you, data science is a umbrella. It's a bigger domain. It's a whole altogether the new world. inside that we have any system which can work the way human work, which can think, which can take a decision, and obviously decision can be taken based on the data. So that's the experience, that's the historical data. So analytics and the modeling, statistical modeling can be applied on the data to enable machines to take such decisions, right? So any system that takes the decisions, like what human does, so it falls under AI. Okay, and the machine learning is nothing but a statistical modeling where we want to do some kind of a prediction, and the predictive modeling falls under under machine learning, right? So deep learning is a part of machine learning again, where the deep learning is more about on top of machine learning, what machine learning can do. It's a rule based predictions, where manually we have to tell which are the important features and what are to check, what is the correlation, and so on and so forth. But machine learning is not intuitive. So deep learning brings the intuition into the machines. So it's application of scientific algorithms on the data, and bringing the intuition for especially the high dimension data, the natural language processing, the amount of data what it reads, it extracts the right features by itself, and which identifies what are the important features. There are so many examples like object detection or image processing. So this is a high dimension data can be processed using neural networks, and deep learning is nothing but creating a neural network based on biological neurons, and which enables to take the decision on the basis of data. Okay. Yeah, so why AI? Okay, that's something most important question to ask. If you look at the diagram here, so name of the fruit, so it's easy for us to basically predict. Now if we show such fruits to machine, hundreds of thousands of fruits if we show, so machine will definitely learn these images, right? So and it will help you to predict the fruit, whether it is an apple or it is not an apple, right? But if I show the rotten fruit the way I can see on the diagram here, the picture here, so this we have some intuition, right? We probably might have not experienced or not touched or seen such a fruit, but still we have that intuition, right, where we can actually say this is a fruit. But probably machine which is trained on the machine learning, supervised machine learning algorithms, may not be able to segregate this, or may not be able to identify whether it's an apple or not. Okay, so here is the bridge. You can see, suppose if I ask you to cross this bridge along with your family, okay, in this monsoon, like a lot of rivers, and there is a the clouds and the rain is going on, so it is obviously we feel like it is not safe to cross this bridge, correct? So based on the intuition, right, so we don't need to have such experience in past. So intuition means to make you understand using the useful and relevant information, okay, we can make an estimate or to predict about a situation that we don't have a direct experience of, right? So remember, it's relevant information and useful information we use for estimation, okay, and that situation not necessarily we have experienced earlier, but we use this information to intuit, okay. So that is what the AI will do. So AI has a capability to think like a human, okay, based on the complex mathematical algorithms, based on the neural networks, and it will have the algorithms to intuit the situation, to learn about the situation or the past experiences, and the intuition can be brought up. Okay, So the whole AI, this is depending on the data. Okay, so AI is the next revolution. So like I would say, if we go 150 years ago, so Thomas Edison have brought electricity, and that was one transformation. It has transformed the industries the way that it was working earlier. Then 40 years ago, when internet was came, so that was another transformation in the industries. So mall plus website becomes internet. So that is what the whole transformation happened. So in my view, the next revolution and the true digital transformation is AI. Okay, so any company plus deep learning becomes an AI company. Okay, so there is a strategic data acquisition, the new roles, the automation, data warehousing, a big data technology. So it's everything around the data to make sure the businesses can bring some deep learning algorithms on the data, can understand how data can be useful. There's a tremendous amount of data around us, around the businesses. So how data can help to bring some sense and bring some model where the artificial intelligence or the smart manufacturing, or for that matter it could be any business, any domain. So how AI can be applied, that's something can be done through the data. Okay, so 95% of the data got generated in last 2 to 3 or 4 years of time. Okay, so this is the explosion of data, right? With the explosion of data, there is an opportunity. There are opportunities for for businesses to to bring the better experience for the customers, to bring the innovation in their processes, to bring the the cost down for any traditional way of monitoring or running your businesses. So the data revolution has became a most important, a crucial part of any business. So companies like the big giants like Google, Tesla, Facebook, Amazon, right? So they have a huge amount of data that they can use for prediction, use to learn about, and they can have such kind of the predictive modeling. Okay, that can help to decide on any kind of the business cases. Okay, so data is the new oil. This is something, there is a saying for data, and why data is the new oil. There are so many reasons how every business is transformed today. What data they have. Okay, every business has a lot of data, but the dark data is still not analyzed, still not understood how exactly the data can be used, and that's where the AI and the data science collectively help to make such predictions. Okay, so there is a lot of explosion yet to come. The machine to machine talk, the 5G technology is coming up, right? And the broadband, home broadband. Okay, so IoT, the sensors placed at the various at the field, right? So these all are the data generating activities. For example, autonomous car. Okay, when the autonomous car is on the road, it generates huge amount of data every hour. So there is a data explosion coming up, and there is huge opportunities for AI to apply the machine learning concepts, the deep learning concepts on the AI, and to have a smart or a better decision making procedures. Okay, so machine learning is a subset of AI, okay, which is actually a predictive modeling. Okay, so we are not going to discuss in detail, as in the previous videos there was a machine learning separate discussions. Types of machine learning, we have a supervised machine learning, which is under the supervision. If we train a model with certain rules, so model will learn and it will perform the action based on the rules provisioned, and for the new data which is required to be predicted, right? So this is another example where predefined data set is there, okay, whether it is a duck or not a duck. So supervised machine learning will learn about these images and make a predictive model, so that for any new image it will either predict if it is a duck or it is not a duck. Okay. In the unsupervised machine learning, we have clustering algorithms. So it clusters your data based on certain features, right? Here we don't manually provision those features. Okay. In the reinforcement learning, the agent is learning by the experience. It is something which learns based on the experience, and the environment throws and reward points or the penalties to the agent, and agent performs the actions for the challenges thrown by the environment. Okay, so this is about a brief overview about machine learning. There's a recommendation engines. This is one of the popular systems today. How Amazon recommends, how Netflix recommends movies, how the e-commerce companies recommends the products. Okay, that also falls under the AI. Okay, so the Google search engine, the predictive search engine, okay, that's also uses AI. So in e-commerce, as I said, the companies, the big giants, they use AI, okay, based on the recommendations, based on their purchase, delivery tracking, and the supply chain. Okay, in the social sites, we have AI, linked list, Twitter, Facebook, and the Instagram. So the AI is used here as well. So Facebook and LinkedIn focus on link recommendation, where the friend recommendations are presented to users. So we have system recommendation like Netflix. So we have already discussed the Facebook tags falls under AI. The Alexa device, which we already spoke about, like a Siri, this is a part of AI system, okay, which can hear, which can learn about the situation, which can hear, and which can perform the task and take a decision. So spam filtering, it's a part of a machine learning algorithm, okay, where how the emails can be filtered out based on some criteria. Okay, let's begin to discuss something about deep learning. Okay, so in deep learning, we have some basic understanding about how deep learning will help you solve some of the problems which probably the machine learning can't. Okay, so deep learning is is something which is used to extract the right features by themselves and important features by themselves. Okay, for example, the object detection, the image processing. So these are high dimension data which is getting processed by artificial neural network. Okay, so there are thousands of data points which can be processed in deep learning. Okay, for linearly separable data, we need not to use deep learning, but yeah, there are various ways to handle that kind of data. Okay, so we have the theory behind the deep learning. So deep learning consists of one input, one output, and the multiple fully connected hidden layers in between. Okay, and basically the primary difference between the machine learning and the deep learning is the intuition, as I said, right? So deep learning brings you the intuition. Deep learning is the revolution in the machine learning, and the algorithm which is the AI based is the ANN, and ANN is nothing but deep learning techniques. Okay, so algorithm for AI is artificial neural network, and the process of learning it is called deep learning. Okay, so fundamentally deep learning is the process of learning using artificial neural network, which is the fully connected hidden layer in between the multiple inputs and outputs layers. So each layer is represented as a series of neurons and progressively extracts higher and higher level features of the input until the final layer essentially makes a decision about what the input shows. Okay, so there is a whole process. There is a labeled data, there is a machine learning algorithm, and the model is learned and makes some predictions for the new data. That's the machine learning. right? And the deep learning basics, if we try to understand, okay, how deep learning will bring the true digitalization, true digital transformation. So it uses the something called the neuron, which is similar to biological neuron. Okay, a perceptron, it was thought long back in 1957 or 58. Okay, that's where the AI systems were thought of. Now more successful, much data and a lot of computation is available. Because of that, there is a possibility today to handle such kind of neural networks in the system. Okay, so uh, deep learning, it requires the large number of neurons connected in the layers. So approximately like billions of neurons in the human brain. So we can have such a multiple layers of neurons, that is artificial neurons. So that can form a dense network which can be used to train your model, train your machine to perform any kind of predictions. Okay, it collects data from the dendrites. So maybe I'll explain this diagram here. So dendrites is the is the point which is the input layer, I would say. Okay, so it is connected to other neurons and to get the input that feeds the input to the body of the cell. So this can be electrical and chemical signals passes to the axons. Okay, this is the structure of a biological neuron. So we have billions of so each one is having billions of hundreds of billions of neurons, and they are connected with each other. So this is the neuron is the so first processing unit, I would say, in the brain. So it's a neural network communicating with each other. Each of the neurons are communicating through electrical and chemical signals. Okay, it collects data from the dendrites, processes it, and then it generates the output. Okay, so that's the whole process it performs. So there is an input layer, there is a processing, and there is a output layer. Okay, so this is how the neuron works. And on the right hand side, you can see there is a single layer perceptron. Okay, how the neural network can be built with a single layer perceptron, which is very similar to the neural to the human neurons. Okay, so now we will see how this neural network can be built using the single layer perceptron and the activation functions, and we will see the entire process of activation. So how the prediction happens, what is the process of activation for the fully connected dense network using artificial neural network. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you in the next video for the further deep dive for deep learning concepts, how to create a artificial neural network using a single layer perceptron, that is artificial neuron, and then we will continue with some more hands-on. Thank you for watching.